What's up, everybody? It's Danny with the Pop One Podcast here, bringing you a good friend of mine, Edgar Ramirez. He just got his top at the Greenville Regionals. There was a lot of players. It ended up being 9 rounds. He ended up going 7-2, which if it was a YCS, he certainly would have day 2'd, and I'd like to think that he would have got there. So Edgar, tell us a little bit about what you played for this Regionals.
So I decided to play Unchained just because I started playing it a while back, and I think it's still one of the better decks to play for this current format, even though it's about to change.
Yeah, so for the Greenville Regionals, was cash still legal or no?
No, so the Banlist took effect the Monday of the week before the regionals, so I didn't have to worry about that, so that kind of skewed my decisions a little bit on the main deck.
Yeah, and I know that we talked a little bit about your main deck before you went to the event. I like your main deck overall. There's some interesting choices, so getting into it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Plowd. I'm the owner of Pop One Podcast. Sorry to interrupt this video. We just want to make sure that you guys consider liking and subscribing our videos. We've really been grinding pretty hard, and I know Danny and my boy Alex, they've been going back and forth. Alex has been going out there getting us a lot of content for our YouTube shorts, which you should definitely go check out. And Danny's been grinding really hard, going to all these regionals and different events and getting these high quality profiles for you guys. So be sure to show some love and thank these guys properly. I don't want to interrupt the profile anymore. Get back to the profile. Join the Discord, link below. Peace.
We look like we're playing the 3 tour guides and the 1 Phoenix Rhino standard. The 3 Shrivara, the best card in the deck, standard. 3 Aruha, and then you get into a little bit of interesting territory here. We've got 2 Rakias and then 2 Saramas. What was the theory behind playing 2 of each instead of 1 and 1?
So I play tested it quite a bit at 1 and 1. And just my luck, I always opened them when you really don't. The other thought process was, if you ever get to a point where it's a simple like board state and you need to top deck, and you either top deck Prison or the second Sarama, that lets you go on by yourself. Like Prison search Sarama target a trap, pop it, you go off again, So I just felt like it was kind of correct. I know a lot of people don't play it like that. I know for a fact that some of my buddies that I played test with, and they played the same deck, they were playing the 1 and 1. And I just couldn't bring myself to it. I like the fact that if I ever do need to top deck it and I need my deck to start going off again, I have the second Sharama for that. And the second Rakea was just, I felt like I needed more names. Like I just got into points where I wasn't opening names. So I was like, I might as well throw it in,
Yeah, I like it. I like the thought process. I've played against Unchained quite a lot. Our locals has about 5 Unchained players now. Unfortunately against me in a top deck where they always top deck tour guide, but most of the time if you're not top decking something like the Sarama or the Rakia, you're not really going anywhere, especially if you don't have a board. So I like that idea. I like that it's different, and it certainly seemed to work out for you. And then we've got the 1 Blue Dog, of course, the 1 Abominable, one of the best cards in the deck, I think. And then I see that you're running the Unchained Soul of Disaster in the main. Was that just a meta call because you thought you'd see a lot of Unchained since Cash just got hit?
So in part, yes, because like without a Rise Heart, that kind of runs free. But I also just played it because I genuinely do like the card a lot. It does so much, and I felt like Nib was going to be a big problem, and that just helps playing through Nib a lot. So I just decided to make that meta call. I was like, if I'm going to get Nib, I kind of want to have a better way of playing, having a good, decent inboard at the end, and Dog definitely helped with that.
Yeah, and I think you and I talked about it too, which is since Unchained was going to be represented pretty well, it certainly helps you in the mirror. Now, how many mirrors did you end up playing throughout the day?
I ended up playing only 2 mirrors, and I ended up winning both of them. The Dog did a lot of work in them for sure.
Yeah, I think that was certainly a good call, especially since the Greenville Regionals is usually a little bit more competitive past round 2. So getting back into this, I see that we're playing the Vice King as well as the Dark Contract. We're still liking that, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, no, it's so in one of my rounds I played against Flu, and it ended up winning me in time because I gained the 1,000.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool, honestly. I didn't even think about that as being a like pseudo time card, huh? and then we're running the 3 Ashes. Now, a lot of people were playing Imperm, but you decided to run 3 Droll and Lockburn in the main instead. Did you like that all day, or did you feel like you wish that it was Imperm?
So it was a mixed bag of things. Usually people play 3 Prosperities. I obviously didn't because I don't own them, and I didn't feel like I had enough time to go to the vendors at the regionals and look for them. And I just made the decision, instead of running 40 cards, run 43 and play 3 Droll. And it actually ended up working out a lot because of my matchups. So I definitely liked it. I don't know if I would prefer it over Imperm necessarily, but it's something that I could see myself doing instead for the next time. But for now, I think I'm going to keep it like that, like the 3 Droll in the main.
Yeah, that's fair. And then, of course, we have the 3 Abominations Prison, the 3 Book of Eclipse. Did you like the Book of Eclipse? Did that feel solid for you all day? Do you wish it was anything different?
So I talked to a lot of people about it, and people kept telling me that I'm kind of like stuck in the previous ban list where I was running 3 books, and I just kept arguing that no matter how you thought about it, 3 books right now is kind of still broken because it doesn't target and it just answers all your problems. Did not wish it was nothing else. Did not wish I ran Book of Moon instead of the Eclipse. The Eclipse did what I wanted them to do, and they definitely helped me break a lot of boards.
Good. And then we're playing like the Talents package, as I like to call it, with a 1 Thrust, 1 Duster, and 1 Change of Heart. Did you like the Change of Heart in the main board with your thrusts?
So I never got to use Change of Heart ever because every time I used Thrust, I usually went for Feather Duster instead, or Talents, or one of my other Unchained cards. So I don't know how I feel about the Change of Heart. I could have seen a lot of scenarios where it would have been nice to open it or search for it, but it just never came up for me, so I can't really say anything about it.
That's fair. And then we're playing the 2 Thrusts. We're playing 2 because you don't have the 3rd, correct? Or was it you didn't like playing the 3rd?
No, so I own 4 Thrusts, 2 Secrets, and 2 Ultis, but I personally don't like playing 3 Thrusts just because I played it for a while and I just kept opening 2 in my hand for whatever reason, and I was like, back down to 2 you go.
That's fair. That's fair. It's one of those cards that you don't want to see in multiples. And then we're playing, of course, the 2 Abominable Chamber, and then the 3 Escaped. Did you like that ratio? Did you ever want the 3rd Abominable Chamber, or were you pretty happy with just running 2 and 3?
So I decided to play the 2 and 3 just because I didn't want to play 44 cards, and I felt like 43 was like pushing it for me. And my choice was, because you can play either 3 of the Chamber, 3 of the Escape. I decided to play 3 Escape just because I was terrified of the Flu matchup, because Flu is like the worst matchup for this deck. And I'm like, well, Escape gives me a good answer to the matchup, just pop my card, pop in pen, and go from there. So that was my thought process behind that.
Yeah. We'll touch on the extra deck first. The extra deck is pretty standard. We're running the 2 Yamas, 2 Soul of Rage, 1 Anguish, 1 Abomination, 1 Muckracker, 1 Unicorn, 1 Griffin, 1 Underworld Goddess, 2 Wave King Caesars, 1 Stone King Darius, 1 Divisor King Deus Ex Machina, which is a disgusting card. That card is so good, like not even just for making Zeus, and then of course the 1 Zeus. Did you like the extra deck? Was you gonna stick to this going forward, you think?
So I decided to play the 2nd Highway King Caesar last minute because I used to play access code instead. I did miss the access code quite a bit. There was quite a few times where I'm like, I really wish I had the access code to link off just so I can chain block their stuff. But it didn't do me bad. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The 2nd week, Caesar did come up a few times. So that was good to have. And then Machinex. So the other reason I played Unchained is because I used to play DDD, and I just remember how busted Machinex was, and I'm like, if I have a reason to play it, I'm going to.
That's fair. That's fair. That card is definitely good. I played against it at our locals, where he just sat on the Machinex, and it just kept gobbling up my monsters, and I was very upset for a hot minute by it. But looking into the sideboard, our sideboard is a little different than what a lot of people are running. We're running 3 nibs, 2 of the Dark Kaiju, of course, 3 Cosmics, 3 Anti-Spell, 2 D Barriers, and 2 Evenly Matched. Tell me a little bit about your side deck. What cards did you like a lot? What did you see yourself siding in most of the day? And do you think you'd make any changes?
So I decided on 3 nib. Was a meta call. I just decided that that's the read I had on the meta. That nib was going to be a good thing, especially if they see that I'm playing Unchained. Not many people are like, "Oh, he's going to side into them," kind of thing, you know. Dark Kaiju was just against Pearly. Never got to play it against it, so I didn't really know how it would have done. I sided in it quite a few times for certain matchups. The one match that I saw it was against Tier Element, and it wasn't the best because it sends by card effects that let them go off a bit, but it definitely did things for me. The 3 Cosmics was for the mirror, obviously. Plus, any lab players that I would have ran into, but didn't run into any. Anti-Spell is just Anti-Spell, and that card kind of needs to get limited or banned. I decided to run 2 D-Barrier. I know a lot of people are like running 1 because you're running Thrust, but since I was like, I'm running 2 Thrust, might as well run 2 D-Barrier because I'm not going to always search for it. And then the only other thing that I really changed from my previous list to the one that I ran was the 2 Evenly in the side. Because I used to have Droll and Lock in the sideboard, and putting them in the main let me have 3 extra slots. So that let me put the 3rd Cosmic in, and I just had 2 spaces, and I didn't really know what to put in there. I debated between DD Crow, Ghost Bell, Spooky Dogwood, and Evenly, and I just sat there for a long time thinking about it. And I'm not gonna lie, you kind of influenced me a bit, where Evenly is busted if you see it. So I was like, let's throw it in.
Did you see it at all?
I saw it, I think 3 or 4 times, and it definitely won me a couple games.
The card is busted. I hate this card so much. I'm gonna continue playing this card in my decks until I can win a YCS and get the damn card banned. But I'm glad you did good. You ended up going 7-2. Do you remember some of your matchups or some of the more notable matchups?
So no, none of the matchups really stood out except for the round 7, I believe. I played against Flu, and that was just terrified because I ended up losing the die roll. He goes first. He sets up double and pin plus a couple sets, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go to game 2. Game 2, he ended up misplaying. He shotgun Featherstorm, and I had the Book of Eclipse, and that just kind of beat him. And then game 3, he bricked. He didn't really brick. He activated Prosperity, got Eaglin, and I guess that was the only name he had, because as soon as I dropped Droll on him, he just summoned Eaglin, set 2 paths. And I looked at my hand. I remember it was Prison, Dark Contract, Device King, Droll, and Chamber. And I top deck Shavara.
Wow.
But he shotguns Featherstorm and Dimensional Barrier, calling Exceeds, and I'm just staring at my hand. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just normal summon. I searched for Rakea. Normal summoned it, swung over his bird. Just set my things past. He tried to do his whole thing. Thanks to Shavara in hand plus Escape, I managed to let him not in on a decent board. He tried to swing in for damage because we only had like a minute left on the clock towards the end of this. Couldn't hit me. He was still 700 down. He tried to Advent during my turn to try to gain the life, but it didn't matter because I had a Vice King plus Dark Contract, and I just gained 1,000 anyway, and I won in time because of that.
Hell yeah, I bet that felt really good.
Oh, dude, it felt amazing because going into regionals to the regionals, I made the concession that I was going to lose to Flu no matter what if I ran into them, and
I remember we had talked about that.
Yeah, luckily I managed to dodge them all day except for round 7. Ended up winning that.
You also
My other
played
two
some
losses
like
were
good cards that are good against flu. Like you're maining the Drolls, you have a change of heart for them. Like you have some cards that are very strong against them too. That I think if you, even if you'd just seen more flu, I think you'd have been fine, honestly.
yeah. So the other thing too, right? Because like you said, I used to play DDD. I know how to play with Mach and X against flu, so I felt pretty confident. But at the same time, I wasn't holding my breath in that matchup.
Yeah, well, again, it ended up going 7-2. You did amazing out there. We're super proud of you. I know our whole group chat was cheering you on. I was trying to make sure that you were breathing, remembering to breathe, and just take it as it goes, because some of those losses I know can hit you. And you ended up going out there with Leonard. He didn't do so hot, but he got the win of Matt. Are there any shout outs that you would like to give before we go ahead and wrap this up, Edgar?
Just to all the boys, you helped me a lot when I was just trying to theorize a side deck for the event. Just Leonard, my boy, he didn't do good. He did win the mat, so I'm proud of him for that. He play tested with me. He ended up staying like 1 or 2 in the morning, just looking over my deck and like giving me his opinion on it, which I appreciate a lot. Some of the other guys that I play at locals in Columbia at side deck, they helped me a lot too, play testing and just giving me their opinions on stuff. Pretty much it.
Well, hell yeah. Well, guys, again, this has been Danny with the Pop One Podcast here with Edgar Ramirez, who got his top at the Greenville Regionals. You guys have a great day and stay tuned for some more awesome content. Thank you.